Well, hey there, Diet Disruptors. Carrie here. And I know a lot of you know that when I get to bring on a guest to our show, it makes me so happy because I don't have to do it all by myself. And today makes me so happy because this isn't just any old guest. This is Coach Michele P, everybody. Hi, Michele.
Hi.
I'm so happy that you're here. We are doing a series of Meet Your Coaches. We have so many incredible coaches on our team, and I feel like you guys work so hard behind the scenes, and we never get to highlight you and tell your stories and why you're a coach. You didn't just apply for a job with us. You have a story and an experience. And so I just think it's fun that we highlight each one of you. So Michele, I'm so happy. And we have to call you Michele P. Why don't you tell everyone why we have to call you Michele P?
Well, it's been interesting because there are three Coach Michelles, although I always say I am the Michele with one L. My name is the one that's spelled right, the right way.
I always say that to people that have Carrie as their name.
Yeah. So, but I do always refer to myself as Michele P. Otherwise, people get really confused about which Michele they're talking with. So,
yeah. And you can't, especially talking, we can't differentiate the one L. Let's be honest.
Exactly.
Yes. So Michele P is one of our amazing coaches, and she came to us just like all of our coaches did as a client first.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love, Michele, for you to just share a little bit of your story about how you found us and what made you say yes to working with us before we even get into the coaching.
Sure. I would love to. Well, my story with food and issues with food actually starts when I was back in elementary school. I was a chubby kid. And so my mom in sixth grade put me on a diet, and it was a diet where we had to track everything that we ate. And so that kind of started my lifetime of tracking and food just kind of being at the forefront of my mind all of the time. Mm-hmm. And when I became an adult, I became even more obsessed with trying to stay fit, especially after I had kids and all of that, and continued to track. I've tried every diet out there, I think, just about.
But we all know that they were all essentially the same thing over and over again.
Exactly. I mean, I'd lose weight and then I'd gain it back and a little bit more, and then I'd lose it again. It was just this vicious cycle. Well, right before I turned 50, I decided that, okay, I'm going to live the second half of my life, because I'd like to live to be 100, I think.
Absolutely.
At
least.
Yes. I wanted to be more healthy, more fit. And so I became a Beachbody coach, actually. And I did that for a couple of years. It worked great. I lost weight. I got fit. But there was something about it that I just did not feel like was right. Like the food plan to me still felt restrictive. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't stick with it. And I thought, I'm not being a very good coach if I can't even live the lifestyle that they're wanting me to live or their food plan.
That's so interesting because people, a lot of times they think our coaches are like perfect, right? And you're not. We talk all the time about how much we're all working on our journey, but we have to be living a consistent lifestyle. And if you can't do that, how can you support others to do it?
Exactly. I mean, I could tell them what to do, but at the same time, I was like, oh, I just don't feel good about this. And so I stopped coaching.
And you know what, Michele, let me interrupt you for a second, because when you think about all the things that you've tried and you think about our litmus test, the 3 questions that we know we want to ask before we do any nutritional approach. Mm-hmm. 1, is it based in science so your body is going to thrive? 2, would you let your kids do it? And 3, can you do it for the rest of your life? So as you were coaching, do you think you could have answered yes to those questions with what you were doing before?
I think that it was based in science. I mean, it wasn't anything crazy.
Right. Yep. And you know what? All diets are based in some sort of science. It's just not all designed to make your body thrive.
Exactly. Yeah. And I don't think I could have put my kids on it because you had to measure everything all the time. Mm-hmm. And how, we
Right.
all know when we have young kids running around, you don't have time to measure out their meals and say,
Yeah. Can you imagine your kids like measuring out their Cheerios?
no, no. And yeah, definitely no, I could not have answered all three
Yeah.
questions.
So there's no guilt there. It's just a great litmus test to be able to be like, okay, information. So anyway, sorry I
Yeah.
interrupted you on that, but I just think it's
No,
really important to be able to remember that those are the things that we
right.
need to be looking for.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, as I was taking my break, it's really interesting. I was on Facebook one day and I was, of course, looking for the next best thing. I
Mhm.
was still doing my workouts, but the
And you
nutrition
and
was
you're
not
a
good.
worker outer.
I'm a worker outer. Yes, I
Michelle,
am.
if you guys all have to follow Michelle on Instagram. Michelle, what's your Instagram handle?
Michelle Phillips 4.
Okay, Michelle Phillips 4 with one L.
Yes. Two
And
L's in
two
Phillips.
L's in the 2 L's in the last name, yes. But Michelle Phillips 4, and she is like never miss a Monday. And let me tell you, every single Monday morning, I'm like, Michelle doesn't miss a Monday. She's you inspire me, and I know you inspire others. So, but you were a worker outer,
Yes.
and tell us about that because you stopped doing the food thing or really couldn't keep up with it, but you still worked
Mhm.
out, but you were still
Right.
struggling.
Right. I was still struggling. I was still struggling with being super tired.
Hmm.
I've had the dips in the afternoon, the brain fog, all of that. I mean, it just something still just was not right with me, even
Hmm.
though I was working out and I appeared to be really healthy. But I was scrolling through Facebook one day and all of a sudden you popped up in my feed. And I just remember the caption was the last nutritional advice you will ever need. And I thought, wonder what this is about. I clicked on it and ended up in the Diet Disruptor Squad, which is our free Facebook
Yep.
group.
Yep.
And I kind of just, stalked the
I was gonna say
page
you
for a
stalked for a
while.
long
Just
time, didn't
stalked for
you?
a while. And there at the time, you offered a free seminar. I actually did 2 seminars before I committed
That's
to coach
right.
because I was skeptical. I had been through so many things. And after the second time through, I decided, okay, this is it. I'm going to do the 4 weeks to wellness.
Mhm.
And I have not looked back.
Yeah, and
Um,
how long ago was that, Michelle?
that was about 3 years ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. And really at the time, I think you had approached me about coaching because you knew a little bit about my background. And I thought, you know what? I love this program. It's something that I know fills in the gap that I was missing.
Mhm.
And I really wanted to teach other women and support other women that had gone through what I was going through in
Yeah,
their nutrition
yeah,
and in their
yeah.
health and wellness.
So, what was it that you felt like? I mean, you came to us knowing a lot. Let's be honest,
Mhm.
right? What was it that was so different about what we were teaching, that really made you feel like, okay, this really is different?
Well, so most of the diets that I had been on were super restrictive,
Hmm.
okay, deprivation.
Hmm.
And the number one thing, honestly, that attracted me to it before I even did the 4 weeks was the fact that I could eat every 3 hours because I love food. And I thought, this is it. Like, I can eat all day long. I don't have to like skip hours and hours in between meals. And
Hmm.
so that was one thing. But then once I actually started eating what I had been taught, at the time I was starting to move into menopause. So I was kind of perimenopausal. I was having night sweats. I wasn't sleeping through the night. Those went away.
Hmm.
Like literally, I was like, what in the world?
Hmm.
My afternoon brain fog disappeared. I had a way more energy and I thought this is just awesome. So that's really why I stuck with it because I felt like a different person.
Hmm.
I would, yeah, like I mentioned, I was sick and tired of being sick and tired, and that was eliminated.
Yeah, and it's just so amazing when you actually fuel your body correctly. And
Hmm.
it goes it's so I'm sure you hear this with your clients too, but when they come to us, they're so skeptical and some of them are really fearful about eating. And we make it so simple. I mean, I don't think that there is a career that we have not been able to have and to work with that can't make this work because of all of the ways that we make this super simple.
Hmm.
But the fear of eating that much is really real. But
Mhm.
what I always hear after a few weeks, it's like, it just makes so much more sense. How was I so bamboozled for so long?
Right. Right.
You know? How do
Exactly.
you, why do you think it is? And so it's almost like once you see, once you see it, you can't
Mhm.
like unknow it. You can't unsee it. And my whole goal is that people will never go back to dieting again once you realize what deprivation is doing to you. And I wonder, how we got so bamboozled into believing that less is what we should be doing. We would
I
never
don't
do that
know.
for our kids or anything.
I know. Well, I had a client, her name was Jean, and actually she was older, like me. Like I'm in my mid 50s. And so she was around the same age as I am. And I remember her coming to me and saying, this is all common sense. I should have known how to do this. Why did I deprive myself? Why was I torturing myself all of this time? I'm loving this.
Mhm. Yeah, it's really interesting. So
Mhm.
here's the big thing that I always say, Michelle, and you've been around with us long enough to now know the truth on this. And so, like years ago, and you were even part of what I mean, kind of in a transition, but years and years ago, I would just teach women how to eat. I'm like, here you go. Here's your meal plan. Eat this. Right. And inevitably, I would get women that were like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And then 6 weeks, 6 months, 12 months, they'd fall off,
Mhm.
right? They just couldn't continue to do it. Even today, years and years later, I will get a message randomly from someone saying, you know what, I got to get back on.
Mhm.
And I'm like, we can't have women falling off.
Mhm.
So as you think, okay, it's different, sure, what we teach, but I feel like that's the easy part.
Mhm.
The real, and I'm not going to say magic in what we do because there's nothing magical about it, but I really think that the specialness of what we do goes beyond the food. And it goes really into who we are, what we're thinking, how our thoughts and our beliefs dictate our actions, and how we work to do this forever.
Mhm.
So, in your journey, in how have you evolved with your mindsets and your thinking through this process that makes you really convinced you are doing the last nutritional advice you'll ever need?
Well, I think that some of the tools that we provide our clients as far as looking, uh, just really digging deeper
Mhm.
and trying to figure out, okay, is this an excuse that I'm making?
Yeah.
Or is this real? Is this a real problem? And if this is a real thing, how am I going to work through it? Like,
Mhm.
how am I going to get to the other side?
Mhm.
And having the coaching support and everything else to do that really made a difference.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, you had like when you think about what you do for women and you're coaching them, I mean, you're checking in with them daily.
yeah. Hmm.
I mean, I when I talk to clients, you're like, "Oh my gosh, Coach Michele P, she is amazing." I mean, like, first of all, you're so positive, but you are consistently showing up for them so that they start consistently showing up for themselves. And I
Hmm.
think that's a big piece of this, thinking about our thinking. And you provide women the chance to do that. You don't just give them answers.
Right.
Right? Like, so what do you do when a woman when a woman has a question about something, for example, and wants
Hmm.
to know something, what's the way that you kind of coach her to help her find the answer or
Well,
figure out
I will usually, especially if they want the answer, I will usually respond with a question.
the
Well, how do you think you need to find this out or that out? Or,
And
why do
why
you
do you
think
do
you're
it that way?
struggling with this?
Yeah. Now, why would you do it that way? Because you have a lot of answers. You know a lot of things. You're a certified health coach.
Right.
Why do you provide questions to their
Well,
questions?
one of the reasons is I want them to see that they can solve the problem
Mhm.
themselves. And it does help them to really internalize it a little bit more, I think,
Yeah.
when I'm asking them the question. And it helps them to use some of the tools that are right in front of them that we've provided that they have access to forever. So
Because for sure, sometimes it's easier just to ask you the question, but we want people to do this forever.
yes,
And if they're just used to asking you, at some point when you're not there every minute of every day, they
right.
got to be able to know where to look.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's huge, right? Like that's
Yeah.
we always say we're teaching women how to fish.
Yes.
You've taught a lot of women how to fish.
Mhm.
And what I love is that, Michelle has this background and this knowledge, but it's also such a passion. I mean, she works full time. in addition to coaching. This is very much I feel like this is like mission driven passion for you.
Yeah,
Do you agree?
it is. Yes. I do it because I love it. Um, and I love meeting people. Okay.
Okay, I don't know what just happened. This is the beauty of live, but we lost okay, we're back. Anyway, all right, Michele, I missed that last part of what you were saying. Why you do this and kind of this being a passion of yours.
Sure. Well, it definitely is a passion. I do feel like it is more of a mission for me than anything else, than just a job or a side gig or anything like that, because I love meeting people. I love hearing their stories. And I love walking alongside them in this journey.
I mean, you have a freedom now that arguably you didn't have for more than 40 years. When you think about you dieting as a kid until you were 50, 50-ish, right? When you found
Mhm.
us, you were just turning
Yeah, I
50.
was like 53 or 52. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, arguably a good 40 years of dieting that you are
Mhm.
not doing anymore.
Right.
And this is what I say to women all the time. I'm like, we were not put on this earth to find the right diet. We weren't.
Right.
We act like we were. We live like we scroll the Facebook like we are gonna find the next thing. And yet, once we can learn how to live with food freedom and really understand more about ourselves, we can realize that our purpose is to serve others.
Right.
And we need to be at our optimal health so that we can do that. And that's exactly what you're doing. And I
Right.
just think, I mean, this is why you show up for them all the time. Even when, there are some times that women, right, will be scared or won't answer you because they're feeling either maybe they didn't do something that they feel was completely on plan and they don't always want to admit it and respond back to you. But you continue to show up for them and show them love and know that we always say, your next meal is just in 3 hours. You never have to feel guilty about anything. Just show up and we'll show up for you as well. And I love that. And I love that you do that all the time. I would love for you to share, I don't know, tell us like what a client that comes to mind that just sort of like either inspires you or makes you really like excited to kind of every time you get a new client, like what's a story that just reminds you of all that you're doing and all that you're doing that's like so empowering
Sure.
to women?
Sure. Well, I've had a few that
Of
really
course.
come to mind, but one that wasn't too far off, her name was Jennifer.
Hmm.
And she really was struggling with some physical issues when she started. She did have some knowledge about being healthy and all of that, but had never found really a plan, I don't know, plan, a lifestyle, I guess, that would
Yeah.
work for her. She embraced the process from day one.
Hmm.
She worked through her physical limitations that seemed to just kind of keep coming as she
Hmm.
was going along, and did not let herself get down. She engaged um, with our membership group
Yeah.
and just really impressed me.
Yeah.
Anything that I encouraged her to do, she would do it. Like, she would try it, and there was no um, what do I want to say? No tendency to make excuses
Yeah.
if it didn't get done. I mean, she's honest and open about, well, this is what happened.
And these are the kinds of success stories when I mean we have so many of them. Like anybody that engages sees success. It's absolutely incredible. But what I love about Jen in particular too is that she saw so much physical success. She joked with me one day she was in the grocery store and her underwear were literally falling off. It was so funny. But she also really embraced the process
Mhm.
and really felt completely transformed. She lost her job in the middle of it all. And I think that's one of the things that's so amazing that you were talking about with excuses. Like when you see a woman that has reason in some ways to take a step back for a second and yet then they keep going.
Yeah.
What does that do for even you in your kind of journey?
You know, we all have days when we get down
Mhm.
and when we just want to throw in the towel, just with stress or whatever it may be. And when I have clients that push through their limitations, it just motivates me
Mhm.
to do the same
Yeah.
for them. I mean, I'm thinking, if they can do that, I can do that too. And eh, it's it's just amazing how we feed off of each other
And
then.
how different that was when you were coaching before as a
Yeah,
Beachbody coach, when that wasn't getting you inspired,
right.
and
Exactly.
that's what I think is so powerful about our community of women that are in our membership group, because I say this to people, I don't think they always believe us. I need them as much as they need us.
Mhm.
And I think that's what makes our community so powerful, positive, and impactful for the long term. You're never that far away. And then Jen is a good example of how at one point, because she's been with us for a really long time now, at one point she sort of fell away. But
Mhm.
she's in the membership group. She's in there for life. And she
Mhm.
realized, and she started plugging back in. And it was like I could see more and more engagement right there in the group. And she was like, I'm right back in. And I
Mhm.
love that even in the ebbs and flow of life, we have the opportunity to support them. And even though you weren't technically her coach because it had been so long,
Right.
you're still checking in with her. She was still emailing you and texting you and just
Yes.
telling you what she was doing because she became friends with you.
Yes. Yeah.
And I
I have conversations with most of the people I've coached here and there. I will check in with them
mhm,
occasionally just to see how they're doing,
yeah,
and um, they
yeah.
do. They become your friend, and it's kind of sad when you're done
I
when
know,
you're done
I know.
coaching them.
When that daily coaching time is like over, and the reason it's over is because we've taught you how to fish. Like you're
Exactly.
ready, like to go and do this thing, but you got to check in, right? And just know because it's like they're your baby.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
love it. I love
Yeah.
it, Michelle. We're so lucky to have you on our team, and this is why I wanted to share this. I need people to see, like, we are deep. We are our team is deep. Like we are, not just the starting lineup. We have like our entire team is just really, really strong. And you've been with us for so long. And I want to take this chance to thank you and to tell you how much you mean to me. And also just honestly, what you do for women is just like we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be Disruptive Nutrition if you weren't part of this. So
Mm.
thank
Well, thank you.
you. I
Well,
love you
thank
a ton.
you.
If anybody has questions or anything for Coach Michele P, put them in the comments because her story may resonate with your story. And one of the things that we do here, we're different. I'm going to tell you straight out, we are different than anything that you've ever done before. It's why we're disruptive. Get a free call with a coach. Michelle may be one of the people you get to talk to and get a plan for yourself. We always say wherever you are on your journey, there's a place for you. And Michelle hung out in our free group forever for a really long time because trust is built with positive interactions consistently over time. And Michelle, needed a little bit more trust to be able to get there, but we're so glad you did. I love
Well,
it,
thank
love it,
you.
love it. Any last words of inspiration or advice before we say goodbye? I know I put you on the spot. Like, think of something so inspirational right now. But let's
Yeah.
say, okay, you have women that are like, I gotta take a hold of something. Like,
Mhm.
what
Mhm.
does, Coach Michele P, who never misses a Monday, what does she want to tell me?
I would say just do it.
Mm-hmm.
There's no better time than now to put yourself first.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Because you can't there's a reason they say to put your oxygen mask on before you put on somebody else's.
Mhm.
Gotta take care of yourself. We want to take care of others. And if our purpose on earth is to serve others, then we gotta figure out how to take
Exactly.
care of ourselves.
Mhm.
And we're both gonna live till well past 100, dying old ladies in our sleep, right? At
Yeah.
least that's the plan. Well, Michelle, thank you so, so much. Tell Michelle how much this meant to you, what you took away from this, and what you learned. And I'll see you on the coaching side of things, Michelle.
Yeah. See ya.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.